11, an historic South Carolina stadium might be closing its gates for good if two referendums pass in Kershaw County on Tuesday. Those referendums would also rebuild old schools and refurbish others. Supporters say it would strengthen the county's economy. Opponents, however, have other concerns and are fighting to save Camden High's Zemp Stadium. Our Chad Mills has more tonight.
Well, and Judy, the district says it's simply too expensive to continue putting Band-Aids on some of the district's aging schools, and even more expensive to bring them up to code. That's why they want more tax dollars to rebuild certain schools, but that plan includes building a new stadium too, which has some in Kershaw County fighting back.
My dad brought us down here as little kids and watched all the Camden football games and played in them starting in 1978.
Camden High School's Zemp Stadium is sacred to Scott Jordan. Both he and his son played football here in what's the oldest continuously used stadium in South Carolina. But the stadium of so many memories might be shut down if voters say yes to two referendums next Tuesday.
I couldn't believe that they would even consider taking away the tradition of Zemp Stadium.
My father, Joe Connell, he played for Camden High School in Zemp Stadium, and having discussed this issue in depth with him, his view is we remember the people that played there, not necessarily the space.
Ben Connell is leading the charge in support of the referendums. Aside from Zemp, the two votes would allow the school district to borrow money and create a 1% sales tax to rebuild and refurbish the district's old schools. Camden Elementary, Lugoff Elementary, and Wateree Elementary would be rebuilt. 3 other schools consolidated into one, among other improvements.
Mount Pisgah Elementary School was built in 1924, which is 8 years before Franklin Roosevelt was elected president. We have a lot of very old facilities that we've tried very hard to keep up.
But the plan also puts Zemp on the chopping block. However, Superintendent Dr. Frank Morgan says the district will rebuild a stadium across the street from Camden High with $4.6 million.
It will build a far superior facility with lighted parking, paved parking, a field house, adequate restrooms, a good field. It already has, that site already has an 8-lane track.
But Jordan will keep fighting.
It's not about the stories of Zemp and the people that played here. It's about $4.6 million. That's a tremendous amount of money that would be and wasted if this referendum's passed.
Now, the district says there are a number of problems with Zemp, including the fact that they don't own any of the land surrounding the stadium. Supporters of the referendum say there's no guarantee the stadium will be bulldozed if the referendum passes, and they're showing people this rendering of what Zemp might become, a mixed-use recreation field. However, the superintendent says that's just, quote, imagination right now. He says the bordering historic Camden Revolutionary War site would like to see that land return to its natural state. Regardless, he says he wants to build a new stadium everyone will be proud of off-site, but first, voters will have to give them the go-ahead next Tuesday. And of course, we'll be watching to see if that happens, and there's so many more issues involved in that, and we'll post a link to more information on our website.
Well, you're so right about that. Obviously, $4.6 million is a lot of money on the line for the voters to take on there, but also a very emotional issue for that community. So we'll be following that in the other big votes on Election Day.
Will do.
Thank you, Chad. Well, tomorrow